I'm actually being robbed here. That's actually crazy. Oh well. We back with DC strats for Replacer King. This season, mechs have minus 15 HP per second, and Pride Wind units have plus 100% attack and plus 50% HP and skill haste. With the addition of Super Fusion cores, my recommendation is to 120 Eve and Surya for this season. I will be going over the mechanics of the fight, some tips and tricks, and I have a few example teams for you to use this season. All this will be timestamped, which you can find in the video's description. So let me show you what I got. Our King's special condition is that he gains permanent perfect evasion and surefire. As you can see, all these wonderful misses on the boss is until one of my units get surefire. Pattern enhanced for this boss. The rifleman and shieldman gain 100% attack and 200% HP. Why? King is a tower type unit that spawns defenders and adds throughout the fight. The ranger adds will target the farthest thing in the back, and the defender ad will use a special to knock back your front line or anything in front of it. So you see here, Raph is tanking, and then Gabriel will take over. King himself won't do attacks, his basic attacks, until something gets in range. They do a hefty amount of damage, and after he loses a third of his HP, he'll do a move that can knock back enemies. King's special, indicated by the blue bar under his portrait, top right corner. It's a full map attack, and it does ridiculous amount of damage. King's ultimate, indicated by the purple or pink bar underneath his portrait, will do a full map laser beam. Time for some stats for nerds. This boss has 16.9 million HP, 3.1k defense, 5.5k hit, and only 696 evasion. This means your tanks would need 2,968 or more evasion in order to dodge, and your DPS to get surefire would need at least 1,305 or more hit at 100%. And if you shred the evasion by 50%, they would only need 653 or more hit. King Specials is only one hit, so you can sit there and use units like Jushiun or Ella to counter it, protecting your team. Since King Special is only one hit, you can also use shields to protect your team, as you see from AGS Special here. Do a manual start on this, deploy your Lin Qian, and then wait a second and deploy Ecclesia. Doing this will let the Rangers focus Ecclesia, and your Lin Qian won't take any damage at the start, which could be really helpful in keeping her alive. Guys, don't play around, max your operator. Your operator gives your ship HP, and this boss has 99k attack, and his ultimate does a lot of damage. If you don't, you may end up losing your ship. Alright, so we're gonna start off with Lin Qian into Ecclesia. Pretty standard start. So those riflemen in the back are a little annoying, so we're gonna use our S1 just to kind of hit stun them. It stops them from attacking for a second, but that helps. It helps a bit. Now that we got Senjia out here, we'll get some shields, and all that damage that Ecclesia just took will get healed up by Chinatsu. After that, we just kind of chill because we're not gonna kill anything until we ult here and we get a Eve onto the field. We get Eve on right before the boss is gonna use its special. Make sure to forward deploy her so that she protects everyone that's behind her. And then after that, we just go ahead and deploy Yang. Once we deploy Yang, S2 the boss. This will put a attack down on him, and that will reduce the damage he does to your ship. This is important. You can actually iframe Chinatsu's ulti right there. There's really no point. It does give your ship a death buff though, so that is kind of helpful. It just depends. After that, we're going to go ahead and ulti on Gia because there's no point in saving it at this point in time. We'll get it back by the time we need it. Deploy Surya into Swan, and then we start praying. Now, you gotta have faith in your Ecclesia. Your Ecclesia is going to look like she's gonna die a bunch of times. This can happen. It just depends. She can end up taking some damage. We want to sit there and rotate her special and her ulti to try and keep her alive. If you feel the need that she's going to end up dying, feel free to use Yang or Chinatsu's ulti to heal her up. Now we go ahead and ulti on a Gia right here so that we try and get the full buff. We start using all the specials right before the counter because we need that counter in order to get Surefire, and this is our window of opportunity to do damage. We wait a second before using Surya's ulti so that if any adds happen to spawn, she'll blast them out of existence, allowing Eve to get as much damage as possible. Now, I iframed the ulti here because I don't want my Eve getting knocked back all the way. She's kind of slow. The knockback from the 50% is only half the field, so it's better to take that but not get fully knocked back by the ulti. After that, we want to sit there and just kind of, use our skills where we can. We want to try and finish this boss off. We have another counter coming up, so we go ahead and use all of our buffs here and use our S1. The death break may not be amazing, but it is still a little bit more damage. And then it's just sitting back and waiting for Eve to do her thing and kill the boss. And here we are with Eve doing, the most damage because she's the only thing that can hit the boss. Isn't that wonderful? For the ship, we're going quad, and for the operator, we're going sysop. Ecclesia, we are running full CDR, but you only need 2 pieces of ground res on her. The rest can go into damage. Linjin needs to be tanky, CDR, with as much skill haste and anti-ground res as you can. Eve, you want to have on Death Pin. Unfortunately, we can't Death Break things well enough in this fight, so we just go with full on Death Pin. Gia, she doesn't need as much tank because of her stats, but she needs as much skill haste as you can. Swan, by the time you deploy her, there's enough defenders and shielders on the field that she doesn't actually need that much res. Giving her some is good, recommended, but focus more on skill haste. Chinatsu definitely needs the res, but you want to have her on as much skill haste as you can fit. Surya can go Death Pin as well. I find that to be better, but you can do Alt Amp. And then for Yang doesn't need that much res. It is helpful if you can afford it, but focus more on the skill haste. So this is the same team. I'm not going to show the gear because it's actually all the same gear for the previous team. The only difference is an operator change here. Now we want to sit here and basically do the same deploy because we want to proc Asha's ability as soon as possible so that we have it back up when we need it later. Then after that, it's basically the same thing except everything, well, no, I take that back. It's not the same thing. It's a little bit different. The start's the same, but we're instead of sitting here deploying Chinatsu right away, we're going to get Eve, and then we're going to deploy Chinatsu into the mix. Eventually. There we go. And of course, the timing's a little different. I like to do about 220, between 222 and 224 to use that to get that attack break onto the boss so that our ships don't suffer. Now, I can deploy Yang here, but I'm not going to because that ulti was going to one-shot her anyway, so we wait till afterwards and then deploy her with her team. You can forward deploy her, there's really not too much of a difference. I just like her staying with the team. And of course we use Aegea's ulti here so we can push through these adds, all while managing Ecclesia's ulti. Now, she has an enhanced attack, and that's why I didn't ult straight away, is because I want her to get that enhanced attack off to increase her invasion. It doesn't actually really... I mean, it does. I was going to say it doesn't matter, but it does, because it reduces the damage as due to her. Since the whole hit and evasion equation is based off of that anyways. So, now we're just sitting here doing the same thing. I prematurely used that Yang ulti. It's not a big deal. I think I misclicked trying to click on something else. That's fine. Same thing. We're using Aegea's ultis into all the other ultis right before this, using S1. And then we're going to smack up the boss a bit. Now Surya, since she came out later, the timing's actually pretty good because she annihilates any adds that kind of pop up. And then I'm using the ulti again here so that we do not get knocked back by that ult. But since the boss is busy with his little cooldown from his ult, this is where I redeploy Ecclesia so that I start Asha's proc up again. Now, we're not using the proc right away because we need to get the counter off one more time from Eve. So we're doing the same thing. We're waiting right for the counter, popping all of our buffs. And then this is where I sit there and pop Asha so that now that we have Surefire, we can actually sit here and beat the boss up. That knockback was a little unfortunate, but it is what it is. And again, Eve doing the most damage. Jesus, 26 mil. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope this helps you improve your scores this season. Not honestly sure where B-side was going with this one, giving a boss 16, almost 17 mil HP, then giving it perfect evasion. I don't know anymore. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're feeling extra special, you can join the Mage Institute by clicking the join button. You can catch me on Discord, link is in the description. If you want to help support this channel, there's a link in the description for that too. As always, I will see you all next time.